Hello everybody, and as you see, I am back in the studio, and that means welcome to a new episode of JANIK Asks. And today it is time for a relaunch, the launch of the Wilo-Yonos GIGA2.0-I, the new generation of our successful inline pump. But what are the new features, the new benefits, and as well the challenges? Stay tuned and join in. As you know from our previous videos, we have different product managers for different products. And so we also have a product manager for the new Wilo-Yonos GIGA2.0-I. So please welcome our product manager for heating, air conditioning and cooling, Jörg Keller. Jörg, welcome to the studio.
Hello, Yannick.
Jörg, this morning as I entered the studio, I saw this pump and thought, why do we have the Stratos GIGA2.0 here? But it isn't. What pump do we have here?
Yeah, in fact, it looks a bit like that, but it is the Yonos Giga 2.0. This is the follow-up pump of the today's IPE and DPE pumps for standard requirements. And this segment we now call Yonos, as we know that from Yonos Pico, Yonos Maxo, we call it now Yonos Giga. And as it is built up on the same new drive platform like we know from the Stratos Giga 2.0, we call that 2.0 as well.
I'm now very interested in more details of the pump, but let us start simple. Let us start with the characteristics. So what do we find here?
We find here an electronic-driven pump, but it is not a smart pump like we know from the Stratos Giga 2.0. So this is the pump which fulfills the typical customer needs in terms of energy efficiency and reliability, which is always a crucial topic for commercial buildings.
And what is there the big change?
The big change is that we changed the motor technology from IE4 asynchronous motors to IE5 EC motors, and together with the well-known and proven hydraulic with an MEI 0.4.
If this is a new generation, so we have an older one, and can you explain the difference between them? If I thought the older one must be the Veroline IPE, right?
Yeah, that is right. The old one is the Veroline IPE, and we have differences, but we also have similarities. So one of the similarities are the control modes. So we still use delta PC, delta PV, and constant speed as control modes. And in terms of hydraulic construction, we still have not a lantern. We have the motor flange as combination between motor and the hydraulics. This is the Veroline hydraulics.
Okay, and what about the reliability?
Yeah, reliability is, as mentioned, a very crucial topic, and we achieve this by using the well-known and proven hydraulics, which we have in the market since many, many years, and we combine that with a new platform of drive.
At the beginning, I mentioned that this pump looks nearly similar to the Stratos Giga 2.0. Is this the new special design of our pumps?
Yeah, in fact, we have a lot of similarities to the Stratos Giga 2.0. We're using completely the same colors, and we are using the same inverter. And we have here the same design frame like this L cover around the display. And we have here a new display in there, which we are using also for new pump ranges.
Yeah, we also have the topic all the field of applications. So where could we use the Yonos Giga?
Yeah, we can use it in HVAC applications, in heating, in cooling, in air conditioning. And this is dedicated to commercial buildings. And there we can cover all the requirements very flexible. It is important that we can provide large volumes of water in an energy efficient and reliable way.
In a world of a pump, we have different target groups. And so the pump also needs to fulfill different challenges. Yeah, can we take a look at these challenges now?
Yeah, let's have a look first on the target groups, building owners and operators. They have got an interest to have energy costs as low as possible. And the pump shall run all the time. This is the reliability which is needed.
Can we go on with the consultants?
Yes, sure. So for the consultant, he's in the tender phases, and for there it is important to fulfill energy saving requirements, but as well the integration into building management system. That is valid for new buildings as well as for replacement in the existing buildings.
Okay, and building management systems are standard today, right?
Yes, of course. So the transparency on the operation on the pump is very important. That can be achieved based on building management systems with bus protocols as well as with analog or digital inputs. This is, by the way, also a benefit for the facility manager.
This sounds very tricky for the setup and especially the commissioning. And so this must be the challenge for the installer, so?
Yeah, then the challenge for the installer is to make the setup very time-saving and easy for him. So for that, we have, for example, the new clearly structured display here to support this.
These were many requirements, Jörg, but how can you fulfill all of these with the new Yonos GIGA?
Yeah, let me start with the reliability. So we are using pump housings coming from the Vero line. These are made of cast iron catapheritic coated, and that stands for long lifetime and high reliability. And in addition, we have impellers made of plastic composite material or made of cast iron, depending on the type.
Okay, but time after time, we need to maintain anything, or not?
Yeah, for sure. Like on all dry runner pumps, you need to maintain the mechanical seal from time to time. This is, by the way, one of the typical services Wilo is offering.
Jörg, as you mentioned, the energy efficiency is always an important topic, especially for the operators to save energy costs. So the big question, what makes the new Yonos GIGA energy efficient?
Well, we are using an IE5EC motor combined with a new drive platform, and we have an hydraulic with an MEI better than 0.4. All these makes the pump energy efficient.
Let us talk about building automation system and as well in the context of commercial buildings. We see there no standard. We have, for example, BACnet or Modbus. Jörg, how can you guarantee that the new Yonos GIGA can be integrated in the important system or perhaps in all systems?
First of all, I have to say the Yonos GIGA2.0 is ready for the integration. So we have analog input for an external auto 10 volt signal, and we have also a digital interface for the external off signal. And secondly, we have the future-oriented CIF module concept, out of which we can cover the requirements on, for example, BACnet or Modbus, so the customer could choose out of this portfolio. And this CIF module platform is applicable on Stratos GIGA2.0, on Yonos GIGA2.0, as well as on Stratos Maxo.
Let us grab the point of the easy handling. What makes the installation and as well the commissioning so easy for the installer?
So well, when the pump is installed in a horizontal pipeline, you have a very comfortable view on the display, like we can see here on the table. When the pump is installed in a vertical pipeline, you have to see how the display is oriented. And to have a comfortable view on the display, you can turn the display in 90-degree steps. This is possible. After this will have been done, you can do the cabling, and that can be reached very easily via the cable glands above here. After also the cabling will have been done, you can start with the setup via the colored display.
Okay, and can you show us the setup on the display right here?
Yes, sure. So we have here a 2-inch display which is colored and which is clearly structured. And we have here a back button, and we also have here the well-known green knob technology. And on this, I will show you how to set up the control mode. Now I'm showing how to change the control mode from Delta PC to Delta PV. I'm moving from the home screen to the menu settings, and then into the control settings, and there into the control mode. There I select Delta PV, and with the back button I move back to the home screen, and now I have changed that to Delta PV.
Yes, Jörg, now after the talk I know that this pump is not the Stratos GIGA2.0 as in the morning. It is the Yonos GIGA2.0-I with all the features. And at the end now, let me summarize the important ones. So first of all, we upgrade the Yonos GIGA2.0-I with an IE5 motor in comparison to the IPE. In addition to this, we also use the newest drive generation. And a third point, and last but not least, we have the classic control modes like Delta PV, Delta PC, and as well the constant speed. And I think these are the most important ones, right?
Yes, that was right.
Okay, Jörg, then, thank you very much for all the answers on my questions and as well your time here in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an expert talk with Jörg about the new Yonos GIGA2.0-I. And if you have any further questions that are not answered in the last minutes, feel free to contact us. And we will be also happy if you give us a like on this video or perhaps a comment and a follow on our social media channels. And now, thank you very much for joining in, and see you next time with a new episode of JANIK Asks.